I'm keen to understand your thoughts on like what made the difference, because you mentioned that you've gone through the process before with a different financial advice business, and it didn't have the impact that you wanted. Our documents are a little bit shorter, but unfortunately, in the lovely land of financial services and financial advice compliance, there is still a fair bit of detail that needs to go into those things. But also, you've clearly, like, a lot of stuff has happened in the last just only 12 months. Apart from my hilarious jokes, of course, what is it that you see as the difference? Like, what moved the dial to between those two approaches to planning?
Yeah, I guess, fair to say probably one of the things as well was I'd sort of sat on the fence a while, but I'd also watched, been involved in attending a lot of the webinars and stuff that you've been doing, and I appreciate you guys put out a lot of free content, which is really quite valuable. And that sort of was like, okay, well, all of that stuff that I'd started to pick up was like, okay, well, that's great, and this is awesome information, but I really need to refine it. And that was really the I guess the catalyst, and making sure, okay, well, hey, it's time to engage. It's time to do something about it. And look, yes, there is quite a bit of detail that went into it, and I think to some people that process can be a bit overwhelming, myself included, and just trying to get all of that information. But at the same point in time, I think, if you're going to take it seriously, you've got to be accountable, and you got to make sure that you're prepared to put in the effort. I mean, if you're going to spend the money, and it's fair to say it's never a cheap exercise doing this sort of stuff, but ultimately I'm a believer in I guess if you're going to try and achieve that end goal, that you've got to be able to prepare to spend the time and money to be able to do it. And that was it. Once we sort of really engaged and went through that process and got everything set up, and I've obviously recently just moved over to that My Prosperity app as well, which is great in terms of the reporting and stuff. And again, even throughout our journey, I guess that was part that I'd sort of, I don't need that because I'm using another application, and that's sort of giving me the visibility over what I want. The visibility will certainly make it easier moving forward, and with the reporting and and I guess when I talk about the visibility, it's the visibility that you guys have over the current sort of financial position that we have at the moment, and being able to go into those regular catch-ups, which as well have been really valuable. And at the same point in time, I think that is very much, we talk about accountability. I think the relationship with Pivot's been great in the sense that it's accountability on both sides. And that's proved to be really valuable because, I have those regular catch-ups in place, and we've made a lot of really big decisions over the course of the last 12 months. And I've needed the advice, and I've needed to make sure, hey, right, is this going to be the right move? And having those sort of catch-ups and that in place has been, a bit of a game changer when it came to just running through that and sort of looking at how it impacts the current position versus the future position in terms of, the investment, the different styles of investments that we've made. And certainly there's been a few, but that's been a sort of a key part of it as well. It's been great.
Yeah, I think it's really hard if you're trying to figure it all out on your own. I know for me, when I'm, trying to work on we've been doing our wills recently, just updating the wills, and I know that the questions come back, and I'm like looking at this document going, bloody hell, like, what does all this stuff mean? And then it's like, well, I don't really know enough. And then it's important. You know enough to know that it's important, and you don't want to get it wrong. But then it sits on the list for like, a week, and then you're like, dragging the chain, and things just take longer. And, when you apply that to investments and markets, and especially around the time that we're talking, when everything was moving so quickly, that's costly, those delays. And I think that it's good to have that point in the that note in the diary that you go, okay, I know that's coming up, and one, I can get the questions answered, but two, that it's going to push you to take action and do that.